Hello, and welcome to Module 5, Chapter 3.2. In this presentation, we will focus on the key management skills that PLA-MNH group managers need. This presentation is split into 7 sections. First, we will consider the responsibilities, knowledge, and skills that PLA-MNH group managers need to manage PLA-MNH group programs. Second, we will explore how group managers should identify and respond to any issues that arise in PLA-MNH group programs. Before exploring 3 skills in detail: problem-solving skills, conflict resolution skills, and capacity building skills. And finally, we will also give you guidance on how to get answers to any questions you might have. Let's turn our attention first to PLA-MNH group manager responsibilities, knowledge, and skills we will be focusing on in Chapter 3.3. As presented previously, PLA-MNH group managers are critical and central to the success of the PLA-MNH group approach. They are the members of the program implementation team who coordinate PLA-MNH group programs through management of resources, activities, and risks. To do this, group managers have 4 key responsibilities: managing PLA-MNH group programs, reporting on PLA-MNH group progress, linking PLA-MNH groups, and building capacity of PLA-MNH group supervisors. In Chapter 3, we are concerned specifically with building capacities in relation to the first responsibility, managing PLA-MNH group programs. There are 5 knowledge and skills areas that are critical for PLA-MNH group managers to deliver this responsibility effectively: MNH knowledge, facilitation skills, knowledge of the PLA-MNH group action cycle, supervision knowledge and skills. The first 3 areas have already been covered in detail in Module 3. Please refer to Chapter 4. The 4th area, supervision skills and knowledge, has already been covered in Module 4. Please refer to Chapter 3.2. And here we'll deal with management knowledge and skills. In Chapter 3.3, we'll specifically explore these management skills. PLA-MNH group managers have overall responsibility for ensuring that the PLA-MNH group programs are implemented effectively. To do this, they need to track and respond to issues in 3 areas. The first area being issues relating to PLA-MNH activities. PLA-MNH group managers need to make sure that the planned activities take place on time, that they meet the beneficiaries' needs, and that the PLA-MNH groups are continually improving. Second, they need to respond to issues relating to PLA-MNH resources. By resources, we mean the physical, human, and financial resources needed to implement the groups. PLA-MNH group managers need to oversee the efficient and effective use of any finances and resources and skills to ensure that the PLA-MNH group supervisors and facilitators perform to their best, according to the training and materials they have received, which may include monitoring and evaluating individual progress and solving problems. The third issue they need to respond to relates to PLA-MNH risks. PLA-MNH group managers need to forecast, weigh, and prepare for possible risks in order to minimize their impact on the PLA-MNH group program. To identify issues in these 3 areas, PLA-MNH group managers can use a number of tools. First, they can use PLA-MNH group observations to identify any issues. This tool is covered in more detail in Chapter 3.3 of this module. Second, they can use PLA-MNH group supervisor peer learning sessions to identify any arising issues. This tool is covered in more detail in Chapter 3.4 of this module. Finally, they can use PLA-MNH group reports to identify any arising issues. This tool is covered in more detail in Chapter 4 of this module. Once they have identified any issues in these areas, they should use a supportive supervision approach to help their supervisors, facilitators, and groups to address them effectively. The supportive supervision approach is covered in more detail in Module 4, Chapter 3.2. Their supportive supervision should draw on a range of skills to most effectively help resolve the different issues identified. Specifically, supportive supervision should draw on problem-solving skills, conflict resolution skills, and capacity building skills. We will now explore each of these skills in more depth. Starting with problem-solving skills. Once a problem has been identified, PLA-MNH group managers should follow a 7-step process to ensure it is resolved. Step 1 is define the problem. PLA-MNH group managers should seek to understand exactly what the problem is. Step 2, prioritize the problems. If several problems have been identified, it is important to decide which one should be addressed first. List the problems and decide, are they urgent? Are they important? The priority problems are those that are urgent and important. Step 3. Understand your role. The PLA-MNH group manager cannot solve all problems. Sometimes the manager only needs to do a small aspect of the work to solve a problem. The manager should decide what can be done by others, including supervisors, facilitators, committee and group members, and other stakeholders to help solve the problem. Step 4. Identify causes. Examine the potential causes of the problem. Asking some questions can help. What is happening? When did it happen? Where is it happening? How did it happen? Who was involved? And why did it happen? Step 5. Identify alternatives and select an approach. Usually there is more than one way to solve a problem. A useful approach is to brainstorm the problem, including with supervisors, facilitators, committee and group members, and other stakeholders as appropriate. This will help to ensure that the most effective option is chosen. It is important not to get frustrated if the problem is not solved the first time. Complicated problems sometimes take many attempts before they are solved. Step 6. Plan the implementation of the approach. It is not enough to simply identify an approach to resolve a problem. It is important to develop a plan of action and evaluate it constantly to check everything that is needed to solve the problem is being done. And finally, step 7, monitor and verify. All plans need to be monitored. This is particularly important if several people are involved in solving the problem. Observations, peer learning sessions, and reports can all help to monitor plans. Let's now turn our attention to the second skill of conflict resolution skills. Conflicts occur between individuals or groups and are expressions of differences between them. Conflicts can be peaceful or violent and are generally about power and interests. Once a conflict has been identified, PLA-MNH group managers can use 5 different approaches to ensure it is resolved. Conflict resolution is useful because it can prevent the conflict from getting worse, improves cooperation between people, motivates people, and can build trust and consensus. Let's now look at the 5 approaches that PLA-MNH group managers can use to resolve a conflict. First of all, PLA-MNH group managers can encourage the conflicting parties to negotiate to resolve their conflict. This is where the conflicting parties agree to reach an agreement by adjusting their views and positions in a joint effort to achieve consensus, while still preserving their interests as much as possible. Or they can encourage the conflicting parties to use joint problem solving to resolve their conflict. This is where the conflicting parties agree to reach an agreement by identifying the causes of it, generating alternative solutions, and jointly agreeing on viable solutions. Third, the PLA-MNH group managers can use facilitation to resolve the conflict. This is a voluntary process in which the manager or another third party not involved in the conflict manages discussions between the parties. Fourth, the PLA-MNH group managers can use mediation to resolve the conflict. This is a voluntary process in which the manager or another third party not involved in the conflict manages discussions between the parties to arrive at an agreed solution. The process is more formal and likely only used when other methods have failed. The role of the mediator is to stop the argument, to give each party involved in the conflict a chance to give his or her side without the interference of the other, to ask parties involved for possible solutions, to choose the best solutions, and to get agreement on the solution. Finally, the PLA-MNH group managers can use arbitration to resolve the conflict. This is a formalized legal process in which the conflicting parties present their cases to a lawyer or judge. Once the positions of the two parties have been heard, a decision will be made on their behalf. This decision is binding and cannot be renegotiated. Finally, let's look at capacity building skills. Once the need for capacity building has been identified, the PLA-MNH group managers should make sure it is addressed. Any capacity needs in committees and groups should be addressed by the PLA-MNH group facilitator, as outlined in Module 3, Chapter 7. Any capacity needs in the PLA-MNH group facilitators should be addressed by the PLA-MNH group supervisors, as outlined in Module 4, Chapter 6. Any capacity needs in PLA-MNH group supervisors should be addressed by the PLA-MNH group managers, as outlined in Chapter 6 of this module. So what do you do now that you've reviewed this presentation? First, we recommend that you update the Module 5 Progress Tracker. Second, we encourage you to do exercise 3.2.1 to reinforce your learning. Finally, do exercise 3.2.2 to reinforce your learning. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us by email or phone. One of the team will be more than happy to help. Enjoy the course.